Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. It is January 4th of 2024. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little disappointed regarding the release of the Epstein files. And who is Gypsy Rose Blanchard's husband? There's been an arrest in the Soto Case in Texas. Another example of why you need to just let it go. And then our dumb criminal of the day. It's going to make it tough to top this behavior for future contestants. Let's talk about it.
Hi, lawyer.
Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. All right, we'll see if we're going to get demonetized because we're going to use the last name of that guy named Jeff. That's right. The Epstein files were supposed to be released. And I don't know about you, if you've managed to take a look at it, I think 954 pages of excerpts from deposition transcripts that are really a big nothing burger. So as you may recall, December 18th, U.S. District Court Judge Loretta Preska detailed her findings as to whether to unseal the names of nearly 200 John and Jane Does mentioned in the guy named Jeff's lawsuit as it related to Virginia Jeffries. Now, this has been a nearly decade-old case, and ultimately, obviously, the defamation case against the eventually convicted Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Miss Jeffrey and Miss Virginia Roberts sued Maxwell back in the Southern District of New York for defamation back in 2015, which was years before the Miami Herald's reporting by Julie Brown titled Perversions of Justice, which was basically the reporting that brought to light the sweetheart deal that let that guy named Jeff skate on federal charges back in 2008. So that guy named Jeff's resulting cushy county jail stint with work release for soliciting a prostitute and prostitution from a minor immunized him as well as potential co-conspirators. That'll be up on appeal for Miss Ghislaine Maxwell. But I'll be honest with you. It was super disappointing. Yes, we heard about Bill Clinton. Yes, we heard about Prince Andrew. We heard about billionaire Hyatt Hotel heir Tom Pritzker, whose brother just happens to be, his cousin just happens to be the governor of Illinois. He's also the chairman of the Pritzker Organization. And of course, the Pritzker Organization denies any wrongdoing whatsoever and has denied any of Miss Jeffrey's claims. Now, if you read the actual documents, you'll see what is in a deposition. You ever heard of the term, what is a fishing expedition? This is it. They asked the witness, did you ever do this? Oh, I don't recall doing that. Well, did they do anything? Ooh, I don't remember that. Well, what about this person? No, I maybe saw him there. That was it. That is the extent of the evidence, so to speak. I was hoping we were going to get an actual little black book detailing who did something with someone else. We got a couple of things like Stephen Hawking's, the physicist who's now dead, who was confined to a wheelchair. Pretty harmless. Apparently he liked short women. Okay, that was about it. Expected a little more dirt. You know where the dirt is, ladies and gentlemen? It's with the FBI. When they executed a search warrant for that guy named Jeff's apartment in New York, they seized thousands of documents, videos, CDs. What do you think was on all those? I don't know. And of course, the infamous picture of former President Clinton in a dress, a blue dress, and heels was also at that location. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years for this. The only exciting thing was the attorneys that defended Ghislaine Maxwell in that civil suit were the same attorneys that represented her in the criminal case, Laura Menninger and Jeff Paliuca. I think they did a pretty good job, which I'm sure Miss Ghislaine Maxwell's goal was not to spill any dirt. She succeeded. No one's ever been charged except her. And apparently, even with the threat of imminent incarceration, that usually breaks the bonds of loyalty, Not with Ghislaine Maxwell. That's for sure. All right, next, who is Gypsy Rose's new husband? Hey, you all want the Gypsy Rose stuff? We'll bring it to you. Now, quick recap. Now, back on December 28th, old Gypsy Rose Blanchard was released from prison after serving 8 years of her 10-year sentence for her role in the murder of her mom, Dee Dee Blanchard. Now, Gypsy's husband, Ryan Scott Anderson, picked her up from the correctional center there in Missouri, and then they gave a couple of interviews. One of them was to People magazine. Now, Dee Dee suffered from Munchausen syndrome by proxy, also known as a fictitious disorder imposed on another, which is a mental illness in which a caretaker acts if the person they're caring for, like a child, has a physical or mental illness, when in fact they don't. And that's according to the Cleveland Clinic. So Dee Dee told Gypsy Rose she was sick with multiple illnesses and subjected her to many unnecessary medical treatments throughout her childhood and adolescence. Then in 2015, Gypsy Rose was 23 years old. She met her now ex-boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, online, and the couple plotted the murder of Dee Dee. Nick stabbed Dee Dee to death in their home there in Springfield, Missouri, and after the couple were caught by police, they were both arrested. In 2016, Gypsy got 10 years to prison in Missouri after pleading guilty to second-degree murder. Nick was convicted of first-degree murder in November of 2018, and he's sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Now, after both Gypsy and Nick went to prison, they broke up. Hard to believe, isn't it? Well, now that Gypsy is free, she is starting her new life with her new husband, Ryan Scott Anderson. So who is the new husband? How'd they meet? Well, here's what we know. He is a middle school special education teacher. He's from Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's from his Instagram bio. And Ryan has a very slim social media presence, and it's mainly dedicated to showing his love for his new wife, Gypsy. His Instagram bio also reads, "I'm married to the most wonderful, most beautiful woman in the world, Gypsy Rose Blanchard." And throughout their marriage, he has shared pictures from a few of his visits with Gypsy Rose while she was in fact incarcerated. Now, before the big release date, Ryan posted on Instagram the photo of them grinning alongside, "Last visit with my wife, 53 days left." Now, Ryan told People magazine that he is a very private person and that he was worried about the attention that would be thrown upon him and Gypsy after her release. And he described it obviously as a whirlwind, but he's still a little nervous. So now that he's in the public eye, what's it going to be? So apparently they've made a pact with each other. Before they go to bed, they're going to lay in bed at night, and they're going to talk with each other and check on each other to see how they're doing, because it's going to be crazy for a little bit. I somehow think that Gypsy Rose is going to make it crazy, not just for a little bit, from here on after. Now, though Ryan is nervous about being thrust in the spotlight, he's told these publications that he's excited about being there because Gypsy's going to be right there by his side. Now, this little love affair began back during the COVID-19 pandemic when he was watching Netflix. The series The Tiger King was popular. And apparently had a coworker at the time, and he said he wanted to write Tiger King. And so Ryan told the coworker, "I'll tell you what, I'll write Gypsy Rose Blanchard," because he had watched the documentary about Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, and told his coworker, "If you do that, then you write to The Lion King." Well, guess what? She wrote back, and the rest is history. Now, during most of their relationship, they've not had a whole lot of interaction, but they spent a lot of time on the phone, some emails. But apparently they have a deep love. Now, of course, COVID-19 was tough because, they couldn't have contact with each other for more than a year until after they met. And but they've developed a really strong emotional bonds, but they've had some up and downs because of COVID. They've been able to build this strong emotional relationship over the phone. Now, they obtained a marriage license there in Missouri on June 27th, and they got married on July 21st of 2022. Obviously, it was in prison. No guests. They would like to have another celebration, though, now that she's out with loved ones. And basically, Gypsy has said, and Ryan agrees, that I don't foresee any major hardships in their marriage. I think being in prison was the hardest part of the relationship. Yeah, I can't imagine anything else being difficult from here on out. If you've ever been married, if you're going to have kids, gee, what could be difficult? I don't know. She also noted that Gypsy has also noted that she's never lived with a man. She grew up with a mom, didn't even have a dad around, so that's going to be quite interesting. And obviously the couple is looking forward to start a family. Now, one thing I did think, why I think that this Gypsy Rose Blanchard has grown up in the public eye, minus her time in prison, even though she was able to get their documentary series in there. I think she's going to be around for a while. And apparently people must have seen the story that we put up yesterday where people are talking about, isn't it weird how Gypsy's new husband Ryan looks kind of like his mom? Little unusual. Some people even said in the comments, well, it looks like her as a child. Anyway, she put a post up on her Instagram. Ryan, don't listen to the haters. I love you and you love me. We do not owe anyone anything. Our family is who matters. If you get likes and good comments, great. If you get hate, then whatever, because they don't matter. I love you. Besides, they jealous because you are rocking my world every night. Yeah, I said it. The D is fire. Happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy life. And then Ryan commented just a little bit after that, who said I gave a damn about anything? Anyway, haha. Now come and get it, baby. These two are not going away, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going away. I think Gypsy grew up on the attention. She's got to have it. It's going to keep coming. Hey, guess what? If you guys want it, we'll bring it to you. I would think if I had just gone to prison for 10 years, yeah, I get you got to make some money, maybe want to start a family. I think it went a little quiet and alone time. Just me. All right, next on the docket, an arrest in the Soto case. A father and son in Texas have been charged with the killing of the 18-year-old pregnant woman who disappeared before Christmas and her boyfriend, who authorities say were fatally shot in the head before their bodies were moved and discovered later in a car. Arrests came Wednesday night, more than a week after the bodies of Savannah Nicole Soto and Matthew Guerra were found in a parking lot in the San Antonio parking lot complex. The crime scene that the city described as perplexing. So the press secretary for the police down there that reported that the deaths appeared to be a result of a drug deal, but did not elaborate. Soto's family said that she was overdue to deliver her baby and had been scheduled for an induced labor when she went missing the weekend before Christmas. And the police also believe that they were killed on December 21st, meaning they had been dead for several days before police found them in Guerra's car the day after. Police allege that Christopher Prasado was charged with capital murder, and his father, Roman Prasado, was charged with abuse of a corpse for allegedly helping his son move the couple's bodies. Now, prosecutors may add additional charges against both men, whom have been described as the only suspects in the killing. Now, Savannah Soto's cell phone that was found in the car led them to another vehicle that was seen on surveillance footage, which authorities publicly released last week in hopes that they would recognize the person in the video. That vehicle led police to a house where they found the father and the son, and it is stated that Roman Prasado answered the door and cooperated with the police, and he said he, quote, knew why the police were there. Now, the Bexar County Medical Examiner has ruled both deaths homicide caused by gunshot wounds to the head. Yes. Let it go. How many times over the years, ladies and gentlemen, have I said, let it go. It's not that big a deal, right? Let me give you an example of this. Because now this person is charged with murder, and if you just let it go, well, he wouldn't be charged with murder. So a tenant and a father who had fought and won an appeal on an eviction notice was shot and killed by the landlord's boyfriend in a Texas apartment complex. So now Sean Pivonka faces a murder charge regarding the death of David Beck. Now Beck, The dead guy tried to give the appeal notice to his landlord on December 14th. Now, apparently, officers were dispatched to that location on that same date because of a shooting. Once there, they found the victim deceased, and Pavonka was still at the location. The officers interviewed the suspect and witnesses and quickly learned it was a landlord-tenant dispute. They're the worst. Anyway, the victim had appealed his eviction and actually won. That morning, he was about to serve the landlord with proof of the ruling saying that the eviction was illegal. The landlord's boyfriend apparently got into the mix, and things got a little heated from there. The suspect made an aggressive movement towards the victim, swinging a fist towards the victim, stopping apparently inches before actually touching his face. He said the victim stepped back and said, "Hey, take it easy, don't hit me." The victim was carrying a weapon. He brought out the weapon in a defensive manner. The suspect was also carrying a weapon. He pulled out his weapon in an offensive manner and then shot and killed the victim. The victim died at the scene. Now, police didn't make any initial arrest because they wanted to investigate the possibility of self-defense. But as always, guess what? There was a video showing the incident. And after that, guess what? Mr. Pavonka was charged with murder. Ladies and gentlemen, we've said this before. Guns complicate everything. Neighbor, landlord disputes, worst ever. It's emotional. I got an idea, though. Let's see this. If you rent a place and you don't pay your bill, you got to go. Now, the landlord's boyfriend didn't need to threaten to punch the guy. He should have taken the paper and taken it and gone to the court system. That's what you do. You can't take matters into your own hands like that. And guess what? If the police determine it's not self-defense, you're going to jail. You're going to be charged with murder. And then you look at spending many years, if not the rest of your life, in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, let it go. All right. Next on the docket. Our dumb criminal of the day. And let me tell you, we are off to a big start with the dumb criminal of the day. Now, I don't know if you saw the video of the guy that should be in the WWE looking like Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the way he was flying over that bench. Well, yeah, the guy's name is Deborah Redden. He's a 3-time convicted felon, and he was being sentenced yesterday in Clark County, which is there in Nevada, by a judge by the name of Mary Holthus. And after the conviction for the attempted battery with substantial harm, judge was there to sentence Mr. Redden. The client was asking for probation. But the judge, as you can see, says, "Oh, I've got something different in mind for him because he's a repeat offender. I think this time he's going to get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history," she said. And then Redden sprints up to the bench, springs himself over outstretched arms, and tackles the judge to the floor. You can actually see the judge's look on her face like, "Ooh." Anyway, the flag, the judge come crashing down. You can see the sheriff's deputy wrestling with Redden. It looks like even the court clerk is in there getting a few punches in as well because Redden just keeps going after the judge. Now, ultimately, the police officers drag him away as he breaks free, but he tries to go after the judge on the video. And there's another exchange of punches. It's all hell breaks loose. And somebody actually yells, "What the hell are you doing?" Now, you can see the attorney that comes up to the bench there in his little blue suit, and he's not saying, "Stop, don't hit the judge." No. Anyway, he just kind of stands there. But now he's a witness, so he won't be the attorney in the new case. Anyway, a couple things that were surprising about this. Obviously, Mr. Redden Superfly Snuka is going to prison. He got a 30-year sentence, and now he's going to be charged with attacking, obviously, the judge, attacking the police officer who was injured in this particular case. And apparently has a history. Back in April of last year, He threatened to bust the kneecaps of another man, resulting in substantial bodily harm. Well, he originally was found not to be competent, and then he was restored to competency and then ultimately entered a guilty plea. Now, needless to say, he is obviously facing new charges against the judge and the police officer and probably the clerk as well. But Mr. Redden, you are our dumb criminal of the day, okay? I don't know if you got mental health issues or what, but, dude, you're dumb, okay? Attacking a judge, one of the dumbest things you could ever do. One, now the court's totally justified in giving you the 30 years. You're going to get whacked so hard on your new case, it's going to be consecutive, and you're going to prison. And everybody just says, look, he's clearly a danger and menace to society. Now, little side note here. I had a case once where I represented the guy that attacked a judge. Now, ultimately, he didn't quite make it to sentencing because, long story, but we got him a bond. He got out, went to Vegas, got shot by the police there, and bled out. So he never made it back. But in that particular case, there was a transcript. I wasn't in the courtroom. That's why I was asked to represent the guy, because it seemed like every other defense attorney in town was in the courtroom that day. And he was there, and he basically says something to the effect of, I want a new district attorney. She's trying to kill me. And the judge, who had hearing aids on, said, pardon me, what did you say? He goes, Judge, do you need a new set of hearing aids? Do you need some new batteries in your bell tones? Referring to the hearing aids. And all of a sudden, then he charges the bench. The judge steps back, all bunch of deputies, and there's usually a panic button, which I'm surprised didn't get hit in this particular case, or they're monitoring from video. Because normally, if there's an incident, most sheriff deputies, they have usually one for each courtroom. But if there's a panic mode, they have like this reserve force that just springs out of all these buildings, boom, and they go exactly wherever they're needed, and they just overwhelm. Didn't see that in this case. Anyway, that case I had, it did. And then, needless to say, the client was charged. And I remember that when I got the call, said, hey, would you represent this guy? The guy needs counsel. Judge thought of you. And they said, he's a really scary guy. And I was like, really? What? What did he do? Well, he attacked the district attorney. I was like, oh, and the judge. I was like, oh, okay. Well, the judge, I feel sorry for him. I said, who is the DA that he attacked? And they told me the name, and I said, he's got one redeeming quality, I guess. Anyway, so we represented him. He never quite made it to court, but it was a dumb thing for him to do. He didn't, let's just say you don't endear yourself to everyone in the courthouse when you attack judges and prosecutors. So, long story short, Mr. Redden, congratulations. You are a dumb criminal of the day. You're definitely going to get it for the month of January unless somebody tops this one. So, hey, that's all we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time to watch Crime Talk. We'll see you next time. And remember, the Constitution matters.